security issues, there are some of them you can go through the whole process. There are others, if you do that, the end results will be chaotic.
Exactly, that is my point. And we need to find out whether we need to further elaborate on the act. In this instance, you called in the military at a point when you know the police are overwhelmed. So you called in. Did you have at least an emergency meeting at the strategic level to be able to call in the military?
One, it was an impossibility.
Come again?
It was impossible to call the strategic meeting. I was in a meeting in Accra, regional ministers meeting in Accra. Two, if I had wanted to call the meeting, the only possibility was through Zoom. Meanwhile, we had people at the forefront and events running. So I couldn't jeopardize the life, many lives of the people of Ejura and also the security agencies. So there and then, I had no other option but to call in reinforcement from the military.
So how does the RECSEC work? If the minister is not available, then RECSEC does not work?
And previously, when we had deputy ministers, anytime the regional minister wasn't around, the deputy minister took over. Under the current circumstances, what we have agreed at RECSEC is that in the absence of the regional minister, the regional police commander will coordinate affairs.
All right. The police have their own standard operation procedures, and the military have their own. In crisis management, we call it interagency cooperation. And so if one agency who is in charge, it can be NADMO. If NADMO is overwhelmed, they know whom to call. They know whom to call. Did you see that working? Because from where I sit, I know if the police are overwhelmed, they go through the process to call in the military. And they give them a briefing. And they meet to at least work out a joint operational strategy. Did that happen in the Ejura case?
In the case of Ejura, it would have been very difficult to have that because the police were already in the thick of affairs. So withdrawing or taking time, say we are regrouping and taking a security strategy or something would have been difficult. So you see, under such critical circumstances, Prof, you have to consider the lives. That is why I've said even that the man, if you are lucky and we are able to play the clip, the driver of the water cannon vehicle must be rewarded because he took a very intelligent position to reverse, even though it was risky. Because the language they were saying, I don't understand Hausa, but those who interpreted to me said, we've defeated them, they are running away. So, assuming the vehicle has stopped, anything at all could have happened.
Honorable, whilst I agree with you that in such circumstances it's difficult to follow procedures, it is worse when procedures are not followed and more lives are lost. In my experience, and we teach them, I was not saying the police should stop, but on the ground, there is a way to call in the military, brief them before they also take a strategic position.
At least what I can say at this point is, once they ask the military to come forward, definitely some discussions went on.
Come again?
Once they ask the military to move forward, not always the police will lead, and the military will give them the support. But once the police ask the military to come forward, it presupposes some discussions went on.
It is this takeover position which I strongly will recommend for this committee to let government know. We train them together. Unfortunately, these things are not done. But maybe because the politicians also interfere.
I cannot say it under such circumstance. This particular circumstance, I won't say it. The political side I don't like is after somebody had hit Kaka with whatever, maybe a stick or something, I don't know the object. And then his subsequent demise. And people said he was an NDC, which is not true, which was on the airwaves all over. And that he was a member of Fix the Country campaigners. You know, these one inflamed passions the more. That's the political twist I didn't like. Maybe if this angle had not come and we had allowed the police to investigate and know the culprit, maybe we didn't have gotten to where we are now. So I agree with you. Sometimes some of the political comments is not favorable, and they don't help this country.
Thank you, Honorable. Finally, my point to you. What would you recommend to the committee in cases of crisis management using the police and the military?
To me, I've used this strategy all this while. This is the first time we've had casualty. I think we should continue with it, but there should be more education, and that we should improve upon the communication between the various security agencies and as to how to act under such circumstances.
I said that was my final round, but please again, this is more directly to you. What would you recommend about Ghana's, the canopy on Ghana's indiscipline?
What I would recommend is that all persons...
In the first place, do you accept that Ghana is so undisciplined?
I accept it.
Good. So
there are a lot of indiscipline in the system. Because if it's not indiscipline, how on earth, youth, some of them around 10 years, 12 years, chasing water cannon vehicle?
So what should the nation do as a politician?
What we should do is that, one, we people at the top of affairs, we should be very truthful to ourselves and say the truth as it is, irrespective of the consequences.
Who bears the cat? Who starts it? Who bears the cat?
We the politicians.
Thank you.